Good evening. 9 o'clock on the dot. He's all bound to know me now. I will just hang on to see if anybody appears for a few minutes. Una from Unique New Adventure Limited. I am here to tell another story. When you pop on, do you want to say hi? Hi, Teresa. Hi, Teresa. Someone else has popped on. Hi, Sarah. Hi, Karima. Hi, Karima. Hi, Sarah. Hi, Sarah. Hi, Teresa. I'm just gonna. Hi, Laurie. Hi, ladies. This is wonderful. I'm flattered this evening. I'm here to tell another story, so I'll hold on. I see 6, so if you jump on. Hello, Karima. Salam alaikum. Hi, Sarah. Walaikum salam. I'm here to tell another story. I've been doing these now. This is my third. Hi, Whitney. This is my third. I started in September because I realised that because the time that we're in now, it's quite difficult to do. Hi, Pat and Teresa. It's quite difficult to do what I've been doing before, which is workshops and talks. So I've stepped into my storytelling. So for just a little bit of, hi Nana, a little bit of a brief in case anybody is new to this, and I know that a few people have joined. We're almost at 200 in the group, so it's brilliant. So my Karima, Assalama, beautiful, Inalapan, Shukran Jazilan. The purpose of this group, I suppose, is to share my my business and what I'm doing in the business. So my business is, just very briefly, Unique New Adventure Limited, rejoicing in our differences through education. So a lot of you know, hi Deetra, a lot of you know I worked internationally. Karima, we worked together in Iraq, and a couple of my Iraqi brothers have been on before. And I did that a number of years ago. And last year I got a bit of a rude awakening, realizing I have so much to offer and so much to share. So I decided to share. I'm a middle child, I suppose, and that's what I've done. So I kept journals. I kept physical journals when I worked away in order to, hi Steve, in order to process what I was going through. So it was long days, it was hard work, but it was also very, very rewarding. So part of my business is to storytell. And everything I do is with a purpose. And I coined this term talk, which I'm sure some of you have heard. It's very simply, hi Holly. T, think of others. A, appreciate what you have. L, learn new different perspectives and cultures. And K, know about the world. So if you can hold those 4 things, T-A-L-K, in your mind when you're listening to this story. I am still in Afghanistan, so I know some of you are new. So I started my international experience and work experience and career in Afghanistan. I worked in 2 continents, Asia and Africa. So please say hi when you pop on. I've 11 on. I'm thrilled. People want to hear the story. I'm very supportive. It makes me feel, if there was one, it's just wonderful. I love to tell the stories and share my experiences because I think we all learn through stories, and I'm an Irish lady, so I want to share. So the idea is then all the learning, the privileged learning, being allowed in these countries to do my humanitarian work as a nutritionist. I recorded my life as a humanitarian. So the purpose of this is storytelling, is live storytelling, is to literally pick a day. So I picked a day, I've typed some up, I've typed my Afghanistan journal up. Hey Yaya, hey Yaya, we were just talking there about, it's been a long time since I've seen you in Samoa and southern Iraq, to share a story. And then if you want to chat about it after, we can as well. So I've thought about these. I was asked one month to tell a longish story. It was my job, 6 days a week usually. And some days were just normal days, and some days was lots of learning. So I picked a story. I'm still in Afghanistan. So for those who don't know, I went to Afghanistan first, then Ethiopia, then Angola, then into the Middle East. I flew into Kuwait, Iraq, Jordan, South Sudan, home, then to Niger, home, and then DR Congo. So in total 8 countries. I flew into Pakistan when I was going into Afghanistan. So I've worked on 2 continents for 5 years as nutritionist, very much hands-on. So hi Vivian, good to see you. Very much hands-on. So this is just one of my days and I'm still in Afghanistan, and I'm going to read it. And if you have any questions, if you want to comment, we can have a chat. These are normally half an hour to 40 minutes. So I'll begin. That's okay. I think everybody said hi. So I like to listen to stories with my eyes closed. It's up to you. So I'm in my living room. I'm in my comfies. It's Monday night. It was a push, I have to say, because my 2 young boys, hi Vivian, didn't want to sleep tonight, but I've committed to this and it's something I want to do, and I enjoy telling stories, and I learn through stories. So let me begin. So Tuesday, 25th of June. Up really early today. I'm off to the field with my colleague. It will be different today, as although I am a nutritionist, I'm off to see something new. My colleague works with IDPs, internally displaced people, and today I will see in the flesh the distribution of non-food items, or as they are called here, NFIs. We leave the house at 6:15 a.m. and the place is so quiet and a little cold, but I know that will all change once the sun comes up. We are working with the UN organisation today, so we wait for them and then we hit the road. Like the majority of roads out of Mazar, they are long, dusty and uneven. I so know why the cars here have to have good suspension. I learned that very early on. We arrive at the village, and on the outskirts on the way in, I can see big, large trucks parked at the side of the road with their engines turned off. The road is relatively smooth, and on either side there is sun-scorched grass, both green and yellow, untouched. There are so many landmines in this country, you don't walk off the road. It is clear to me that the trucks are carrying a heavy load. There are 4, 2 blue, 1 black and 1 white, and sitting on each of them are lots of Afghan men. I learn the men are here to help distribute the items. My colleague and I are there to observe and to make sure all goes well. You see, the items are for people from the villages and neighbouring villages, and sadly, due to the situation currently in Afghanistan, post-war and drought, a lot of families are in extreme poverty and lack not only just food, as I saw myself in the survey, but also basic items for their homes: soap, buckets, blankets. But what the families lack does not take away from their friendliness, hospitality, joy and generosity. Well, in front of me anyway. I'm not special. I'm here as a humanitarian to help people help themselves. Sometimes we as people just need the tools, and once we have those tools, we're more than capable to look after ourselves. I do like to watch, with respect of course, the local Afghan people. They animate when they talk, very much like the Iraqis as well. Sometimes I think they're shouting when they're not, even though they're from the same area. They can all look very different. Sure, I'm from Belfast and it's the same here. I don't have any notion of what they're talking about, as I don't want a translation. Yes, I like putting your hand on your chest. It's typically a Iraqi action of gratitude. Yes, hand on heart. Hi Suzanne. These individuals, mostly men, however there are some women, are here to receive a ration of sorts. So I will give them the respect they deserve and not stand beside and ask them how they are feeling or how these items will benefit them. I know the answer to that, as I visualize my father doing this, and I would give him the respect that he deserves. Stand back and observe. It's also very organised, which of course it is not a surprise. The people line up, they present their identification card, they know what they're going to receive. It is handed over. Hi Frank! It is handed over and off they go. Back to the village in the sun, where the sky isn't blue as it is almost off-white because of the dust. Hundreds of people come forward. It's hard not to find this emotional. I mean, it is someone needing help and getting help. It is fantastic, it is available, but it is also hard as the Afghan people are extremely proud and also now need to swallow their pride, accept these items from an international organisation. I don't know how I would feel, but I suppose if you need it and it is there, it will be silly almost not to accept it for the sake of your pride, especially if you have children, which is extremely common. And of course, in this culture as well, you look after your extended family too. Hi, Paula. My eyes have been opened today. It is a different learning from my surveys. It is seeing families outside of their home rather than inside their home. They carry themselves differently. I suppose when I'm in their home, they are extremely vulnerable as I am seeing them in their home, how they live, asking many questions about their health, children's vaccinations and food security. I'm in their home. I'm welcomed, thankfully. They don't have to leave. But here at this distribution site, I'm only seeing a snapshot of them as they wait their turn and then as they walk away. I feel really privileged and honoured to have been welcomed into so many homes in my first survey, allowing me to see day-to-day life experiencing scenarios I only ever read in a textbook. It is starting to get really hot. There is no shelter on the side of the road. The only shade is from the car that I was driven in. So we make a decision and head back to Atcha for lunch. Enjoy the usual Afghan lunch, kebabs, and then head back to Mazar, arriving home just after 5. Hi Tony, hi Uncle Tony. Go straight home and chill out. The road trip, the reason why I was there, has caught up with me. But I find this surge of energy and a desire to go for a run. I run regularly, as some of you know in my stories. I'd heard yesterday the airport is now open again and we are allowed to run there again, but I haven't got time before curfew, so I run around the house for 20 minutes. Around and around and around and around. I find as the time goes on here, I become more creative with my ways to offload stress and distress of this job and of the setting. I'm lucky my house stands tall in the middle of a walled compound and I'm able to run around and around and around as there are no walls or gates, as there are high walls and gates. It gets a little repetitive, but I need this after today. The temperature is perfect. The sun is going down. It feels really good, to be honest, as it has been 2 weeks since I've been to the airport for a run. I normally run every day. I bounce into the house all sweaty and breathy. I don't want to know what my colleagues think of me. To be honest, I don't care. I need a release. I am a runner, as well as a nutritionist, so I run and it makes me feel good. And they're well used to me going to the airport. Heck, some even come with me sometimes. Have the best shower ever up in my room. I sit on my mattress and read for a bit. My body is strong, my mind is strong, and I'm recharged and de-stressed from today. We all watch a movie this evening, my favourite, Shawshank Redemption. It is truly a wonderful movie. This is on a DVD and a TV that doesn't work normally. I even have popcorn, like I would in a cinema. It is these small things that keep you sane and content. I hit the hay late tonight. I suppose I exercised too late and then I watched the movie. But you know, it's almost the weekend. That's it. The weekends in Afghanistan, as some of you know, was a Friday. So when I was in Afghanistan, and that's the story over. If you have any questions, you want to chat about it. So did you think about others? Did you appreciate what you have? Did you learn new perspectives and cultures? Did you know more about the world? My little take home, TALK. So, yeah, in Afghanistan, the holy day, it's a Muslim country, Islamic country, sorry, is a Friday. So Thursday was the start of our weekend. And it was the same in Iraq as well. In the south, in Baghdad, There were Christians and Muslims, so if you were lucky, you got a 2-day weekend. So that's my story. Normally there's a bit of chat and a bit of interaction. I remember the day, I mean, I'm writing up these journals, and I was just talking with a friend of mine, and I'm planning to publish them in 2022. And there is a reason. I still have a lot to go. And also I started my journey in 2020. Steve, let me see. Una, your voice needs a wider reach. Common man needs to hear your story. Incredible lady. I'm jealous that you got to taste the amazing Afghan kebab. Take care of yourself as you relive these memories. Yes, another eye-opening story. Holly, all of your stories are so interesting. Brilliant. Yes, Steve, you're right, because you may have seen a couple of things before. I do get upset. I mean, it's 20 years. So it's significant March 2022. All being well, as my sisters and brothers from Afghanistan and Iraq would say, inshallah, because that's 20 years from me going to the field. But reading that story, I'm there. I close my eyes and I'm right back. So, yeah, the Afghan kebab, a funny story, Steve. The Afghan kebab, which I learnt, sheep in Afghanistan have fatty bums. And I'm sorry, I don't like to use that FAT word, but that's what it is. It's like a bum outside of their bum, and it wobbles and hangs. I've no Afghan sisters or brothers on this evening. So with the kebab, you can have 3 cubes of meat and 1 cube of fat. And that's straight from the bum. So I would have left the fat because it's like white and fat. So the Afghan kebab, yeah, pretty special with the 3 bits of meat and the 1 cube of the bum fat. So we find that, with respect, of course, we find that as Westerners, non-Afghan, I'm Irish, quite humorous, but fat adds flavour. As we all know, satiety, you're satisfied from fat, that's why we love it, fat and sugar together. Even better, my background nutrition, so, you know, I know that you take the elements that satisfy you out, they're no flavour. So yes, the kebabs are lovely. So Steve, how do I do that? How do I need a wider reach? Common man needs to hear your stories, incredible lady. Can you help me with that? Can you? This is what I want to do. I got a rude awakening last year. Something that happened a number of years ago in work, and I believed the job I was in was me. And I realised last year, it's not. Laurie, being a humanitarian takes heart to go beyond just the job and be a person relating to others around you. Very insightful. Thank you very much, Laurie. Yeah, they're people who happen to be from a different land and different circumstances. Utter respect for everybody I met. They may have had less than me, but they certainly had more than me in humanity and generosity, in welcoming. I mean, yeah, oh dear me, it was just phenomenal really, that what I saw, and then the generosity that came back. Even the Iraqi, there's a kebab, in Afghan, it's a bit larger and tall, yeah. Karima, I do remember the Iraqi kebab as well. It's really instant meat, and there was one of the, Karima, Steve is one of my sisters from Iraq. The kebab is really quick and actually quite inexpensive. And I do have memories, and I just closed my eyes when I was in Naziriyah in southern Iraq. And I remember being in our kitchen downstairs on a Thursday, before the Friday day off. Somebody would go out and get loads of kebabs, and it would be in a large bread. Karima, help me out. What's that bread called? The local bread, and the kebab would be in that, and it would have different salads as well. Onions, yeah, you can help me out too. Onions and different herbs. Oh, I'm salivating. Yeah, but the food was gorgeous, and you'd eat with your hand. I loved that, because I don't know about you, but when you get a big plate of food, you can be put off. And with the food in those parts of the world, you can take little bits. So yeah, Steve, I mean, it was a wonder. So I want this message to get wide, and that's part of the reason why I'm also doing my book. So what I want to do is take people on a unique new adventure, okay, which is my business name, and also my name, acronym UNA. So come with me on an adventure. come to certain countries and learn new things and see different perspectives. And in the good old days, you could have tried on different clothes, you could have held different artifacts. I'm looking at ways to become more creative in reigniting my workshops. So I did have a little bit of a call to action for people in here, if anybody is willing to listen to a test workshop of mine. I did last year Afghan culture and Iraqi culture. So I have 2 suitcases, one Afghan suitcase and one Iraq suitcase, and everything in it, money, glims, clothes, material, photographs, artifacts, everything from those countries are in those suitcases. And the idea is to open it up and to be taken away and transported to somewhere new through my eyes. Thank you, Whitney. Through my eyes. I'm Irish, I'm not Afghan, I'm not Iraqi, not Nigerian, not Congolese, not Ethiopian, not Angolan. So it's my experiences, it's my stories, it's my pictures. Yes, for sure, I will listen. Thank you, Holly. So Whitney and Holly, thank you. And I want to bring these to life again. So I've given myself the next 3 months. And I have also something that I want to ask as well. So I'm also going to create a new tagline, because I have been speaking to some people and they said maybe I wasn't too clear in my purpose. So I want to make myself really, really clear, because Steve, you're saying I need to broaden this, and I do want to broaden it. So what I want to do with part of my work, a lot of my work, all my work is positive. There's no negativity in that story. It's told with respect. Everybody had dignity. Yes, I mentioned the word poverty, but it was mentioned, the intention was positive. It wasn't belittling, it was respectful. We all go through issues. So a lot of my work is through gratitude. So to plant a little gratitude seed. I don't have, but what do you have? So it's shifting that mindset. So with regards to my tagline, making that more clear, and that I possibly will put a poll out into the script just for your feedback, because I want to take you on an adventure through my story. But I want to take children and families one country at a time with stories. Ironically, you know the house and your colleagues, you lived in Tikar, it belonged to one of, yes, yeah, yes, I heard that house too. And the house that I lived in Afghanistan, it had been ransacked by the Taliban. I went into Afghanistan 4 months after the Taliban fell, and I went into Iraq a month after Saddam Hussein fell. So both countries were still shaking. So that's why I was there, and that's not terribly positive. But the positives from that is changing the perception of the countries. Because Karima, in Iraq, the most wonderful food, the most wonderful culture, the most wonderful carpets, the most wonderful music, poets, and I'm writing poetry. I have a poem to read out, actually, I've written, entitled Humanitarian, just at the end. If you're interested, let me know if you want to hear it. I do hope I don't get upset saying it, but so much music as well. But was Yanni is Iraqi, the singer, Yanni, Habibi, my love, or is that Kisses? But in Afghanistan, the same, the carpets, the music, the culture, not the WAR. So that's part of it, is changing the perceptions. And I was able to go away as I am, Christian, white, Western, all these different things, go into a completely different environment. Everything is new. Name one thing, it's different. So I didn't bring my thoughts and my beliefs and my religion in. I came as me, respecting where I was, and how I dressed, and how I spoke, and how I behaved, and everything in between. So I want the message to be portrayed. I want that. Because one of my strap lines is rejoicing in our differences through education. We are all different, but we're all the same. Because underneath our skin, We all love the same. We all hurt the same organs. So I'm not being naive and ignoring the differences, particularly in appearance. But I don't see that. I see a person for a person. Let me see what Steve has written. Oh, if we don't have godfathers or mothers out there to give us a wider reach, keep producing these materials like this. Be relentless. I am. I'm sure you will get it in full portion. Your stories does navigate the sensitive issues in a matured and cultural relevant way, both for here and the Middle East and Africa. Very impressive. Thank you very much, Steve. That means an awful lot. Yeah. So it was an honour and privilege. I've told this before, a non-governmental organisation when in Afghanistan wanted to build a road and went to build a road and were told to leave because they didn't go about it the right way. In previous stories you may have seen, and when my book comes out you'll see more, you need to and respectfully adhere to and respect the customs and traditions. So I did nutrition surveys. I would have always had a translator because my Arabic wasn't that good. I learned a little bit of diary when I was in Afghanistan, but it was never good enough. It was good enough to break the ice and maybe embarrass myself, but make an effort. But you go and speak to the village leaders and the religious leaders, same in Iraq, same in the continent of Africa as well. There's a way of doing things, and then you're given permission. It's not my land. Because I'm bringing something doesn't mean I'm just going to get it. You respect where you are, and you respect who you're with. Well, that's me anyway. And I do that in my day-to-day here in Ireland because now, we're so diverse here in my city. Person's a person. Karima, just to give the impression that you were welcomed in Iraq after 30 years of sanctions dealing with foreign. Yeah, I know that, my dear. I mean, when I was in Iraq, part of my work was doing nutrition surveys and was also re-establishing a targeted nutrition program that Saddam Hussein had quashed, and that was with children under 5 and mothers, and that was due to the sanctions. And when I went to the food outlets and the food depots, there was very little food there. So, I talk about TALK, appreciate what you have. So, Karima, you're very right, and I live in Paris, my darling. I'm so pleased you're on this evening. So, it's just, in my talks that I've done, it's just, I'm not bigger or better or bolder. I'm me. Just stop, listen, appreciate, and know. Because when I did my last talk on International Women's Day this year, actually, from that, somebody said, I believed I was grateful. But now I'm grateful on a different level. Looking forward to your book, and I know, Auntie Dietra, I've told you you're going to be in the front row. If it's not online, you'll be in the front row. That's my mummy's sister, Dietra. You'll be in the front row because you've been one of my biggest, if not my biggest supporter, from publicly and privately as well. I even wrote you a poem because I thought you're just brilliant. So, absolutely. So, likewise, hi Fergal. Hi Fergal, how are you? It's great that lots of new people on to listen to the story. So, if anybody has any questions or any thoughts, I know I've read lots. I did write a poem. I have been writing poetry. And when I was on last month, Frank Liddy tasked me with a word. But if someone wants to do the same, I did write one entitled Humanitarian, which I have. So I'm just having a look at the time. It's 9:30. So I'm going to read it. Anyway, and then if any questions come up or any comments come up. So, Humanitarian, by Una Arlappen. H is for the helping hand you extend. U is for the unique people you befriend. M is for the moments that change your life. A is for the appreciation when you realise you have no strife. N is for the nature views that you have never seen. I is for the insights that make you keen. T is for the team you work in side by side. A is for the amazement when you see a local bride. Saw a local bride in Iraq, amazing. R is for the respect you show in this new home you stay. I is for the involvement you take in the local ways. A is for the attitude you shake up as you go. and N is for the never-ending growth you show. And I suppose that's what I'm doing now. I grew so much. I mean, some of you on this evening, I'm sure I've travelled, I've seen countries. I do differentiate between travel and living because I lived in these countries. So I was able to go to people's houses and go to people's celebrations and weddings and see young children when they were, maybe a day old, and experience a number of weddings, and go to parks and go to women's parties and go to families' parties and break fast and try Ramadan and, see the centre of civilization in southern Iraq. Like, amazing stuff. Always with respect and dignity. The reason why I was there was not a positive, but I've taken so much from it. And I still have sisters and brothers almost 20 years later. And we speak as if it was just yesterday. I remember the day I left Iraq, I remember the day I left Afghanistan, and I will, Steve, look after me when I go back. So when I'm typing these up, I go back because I'm back there. If you've travelled, you have fond memories. You look at a photograph and you're like, God, do you remember this? Do you remember what I ate? Do you remember what I wore? So with me, with some of the memories, there's seeing the sick children, the malnourished children, the poverty, but then it's the lunches, the dances, the singing for me, the songs that are written for me, the clothes that were bought for me, the personal space that I lost, particularly when I was in the continent of Africa, because it goes, there's legs and arms, and it's just amazing. It's absolutely amazing. I mean, as I say, I know some of us have travelled, and you just see different things and hear different things and taste and smell and touch. Your senses are just out the window. So, I mean, that's how long were you in Afghanistan and Iraq? Thank you for, I was in Afghanistan 6.5 months, and I was in Iraq twice, yes, for about 1.5 years. So I went into Afghanistan. The funny story is I was trying to get out for 2 years, Fergal, so I worked, studied, then went on to my Master's in International Nutrition, knowing I wanted to get out to the field and do that as a career, but I couldn't get out. So I worked in England for 2 years in Newcastle upon Tyne in the university as a community nutritionist, and I tried and I couldn't get out. So then I applied for jobs, kept applying, couldn't get a job. Went down to London for a chat with Goal. Halfway into the conversation, they said, how would you feel about going to Afghanistan for 6 months? And I was like, what? Knowing the Taliban I had to find where the country was, because some of these countries in Afghanistan, I went to Uzbekistan, went to Turkmenistan, an hour, rest and recuperation, and then looking them up. So went there for 6 months. It was supposed to be 5, it was extended to 6.5. So went out there for the first month. I shadowed somebody and then I was on my own. But the funny story is, within half an hour, I got 2 phone calls. So VSO, Voluntary Services Overseas, offered me 2 years in East Timor, living in the monastery with the nuns, and then Goal offered me 6 months in Afghanistan. So I took Afghanistan. I thought, 2 months is a long time. If it doesn't jail, 6 months I can count. And within 2 days, loved it, absolutely loved it. And then I moved, as I said, into the continent of Africa in between, and then went to Iraq the first time, part of an emergency team. And I was there for about 6 months, came home, and then I'm back out again with the second organisation, and was based in a different part of southern Iraq, and then was based in Baghdad for a while as well. And then when they hit the fan, sorry Karima, your poor country is destroyed, when it was really bad in Baghdad, I removed myself into Jordan. The organisation I was with then was based in Jordan, and I based myself in Jordan for, I think it was a couple of months. And then I got a phone call. I was approached by the World Food Programme, United Nations, and they wanted a consultant in Janina in South Sudan. And I moved on from there. So 1.5 years, near enough, in Iraq, and just over 6 months in Afghanistan. Long time. Doesn't seem that long when you think about it, but it was, you're working 6 days a week, and you become part of the although I look very different, you become part of the community. And you go to community settings, and I was lucky to experience the first New Year's Day in Afghanistan, the first time in years, because the Taliban had been there and it wasn't permitted. And I was in the third largest mosque in the world, and that's the Mazar Sharif. And I was there with a number of expats, internationals, the red flag being raised, and the singing and the celebration. So that's a memory that's just out of this world. So yeah, so it was eye-opening. It was just, yeah, it was phenomenal. It's made me who I am, and I just see things so much different. I mean, I would have anyway. I mean, my parents are both retired teachers, Virgo. I know you're in music, and I don't know if you're a teacher or not, but I know you teach young children music. So we would have had the summers off. We would have gone to France every year. I went to America one summer. I worked actually in Czech Republic in the University of Davitska in between my degree and master's. Hi Sarah, my gorgeous sister, my big sis, worked in University of Davitska in Prague in between my degree and master's. So I'd seen, and I'd travelled quite a bit as well, so I'd seen quite a bit of the world before, but I hadn't seen that part of the world. And then, as I said, I went when I was in Afghanistan. I went to Uzbekistan. I did the Silk Route, and in Samarkand, and then I went to Turkmenistan, and I swam in the Caspian Sea, another fantastic thing. And then Ethiopia, I was there for 3 or 4 months. Angola was short as well, 2 to 3 months. And then when I was in Iraq, my R&R was to Uganda, and then was to Sri Lanka. So yeah, so it was. I've seen. There's so much more to see. So much more to see. So so that's it, ladies and gentlemen. So it's been really, really lovely. Jordan. Yes, I visited you in Jordan. Yes, we had a wonderful dinner with some colleagues. Sarah, one of them, Miss Inyo and Catherine, Miss Catherine. Yes. So Karima, it was in my house in Jordan, in our house in Jordan, where down the hall to the left were the bedrooms, then the communal dining area, which converted into the office, and then the kitchen. We had the most beautiful dinner. So during the day, the dining room table was the office, a bit like now. I suppose in COVID, I'm working from home. Nighttime, everything was taken away. And then we had lunch and dinner. Yes, Miss Sarah Margiotta, trying to get her on to have a chat with me. And Catherine as well, I was trying to get her on too. So I'm still in contact with Catherine. Karima, I met her and her daughter last year. And Miss Sarah's in Uganda with her son Jojo. So yes, I'm still in contact. And listen, Facebook and technology, and my Afghan sister Zora, my dear Zora, and Ramesh and Mohammed, they're in America, and it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. So that is me. I'm not going to do one on the 31st of December. I do it the last day of the month. So forgive me. That's New Year's Eve. But I will be back in the new year. I hope to share something mid-December. If I don't, please forgive me. I really want to focus on my writing. So I've entered Ethiopia. I'm in Ethiopia a number of weeks. So I really, really want to focus on my writing. But I enjoy this, and I hope you enjoy it too. It was a learning day that day, seeing non-food items being distributed and seeing the local people from a different angle. You're in someone's home, you're more vulnerable. It's your home. And it's outside, you carry yourself differently. So I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you, Fergal. Thank you. So a couple of things if you came on a little bit late. I'm going to recreate a workshop that I did last year. I want to do it on a Zoom. So I've put a call to action as I'm learning to say, if anybody would like to listen. It's about 30 minutes. It's for children and families, taking them to one country at a time. So focusing on children maybe between the ages of 8 and 12, so my own son. So I want to try and construct that in the next 3 months. And I also want to have a look at my own tagline. I call myself an international humanitarian. What does it mean? So maybe something different. So I'm going to put a poll in the group as well. So thank you so much. I'm going to go through everybody who was here. I want to make sure I include everybody because it's a Monday night, it's school night. So Karima, thank you. Sarah, thank you. Teresa and Pat, thank you. Laurie, Sarah, Whitney, Teresa and Pat, Nana, Karima, Deetra, Steve, Holly, Yaya, Vivian, Karima, Suzanne, Frank, Paula, Uncle Tony, Steve, said Laurie. So I make sure I have everybody because it's important you've all taken the time to listen to me. Sarah, Fergal. Sarah, talk soon, keep up the good work. Such an uplifting chat. Looking forward to the next one. Thank you so much, Cece. Sarah, I would be interested in the workshop Zoom. Would like to watch with my daughter. Fantastic, Sarah. Thank you so much. Whitney, so great to hear this. So thank you. So yes, so I will touch base with everybody who's come on with regards to the Zoom. I was going to say something there. Let me see. Look forward to it. Go for it. Thank you, Laurie. So I will jump on every so often. I might share a short story. I might. I do love to talk about it. But it might be just an impromptu over lunch or over break. But I do want to focus on my writing. There's one thing I wanted to say and I've completely forgotten it, but I'll remember and I'll write it in the end. So thank you. Thank you. It is a privilege to share these stories. It's a privilege to have these stories. And when my book comes out, you will have all these stories. I'm writing it like a journal. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. It's my memoir. That's how I want to present it. And I hope my publisher will agree. What I've learned is present how you want to present, because at the end of the day, it's my work. So I want to open that side of your head, think about others, appreciate what you've got, learn new different cultures and perspectives, and know more about the world. So I hope you can take one of those off or two of those off, and I'll catch you again in the group. And thank you very much. Well, it's good night. I mean, that's what I wanted to say. There's a couple of continents on here, so I hope I catch everybody. Or a couple of countries. We've got America, Canada, Iraq, France, Switzerland, Ireland, Australia. Have I got everybody? I don't like leaving anybody out. Middle child, I used to hate being left out. God, yes. Steve, you're States, aren't you? I think you're America. Whitney, you are. Sarah, Whitney's from South Dakota. And when Whitney told me that, I just thought of Calamity Jane. Take me back to the Black Hills of Dakota. I won't sing, don't worry. We've got Island in the house, we've got Belfast in the house, Australia, Vivian. And let me see, I think that's it. London, England. Sorry, Nana. My dear Nana. We've got Castleblaney, Paul's parents. Thank you so much for watching, Teresa and Pat. This is maybe new to you. I know you know about some of the stories, but this is very new to you. So that's it, folks. Good night. God bless. Sleep well, and I'll catch you again soon. Bye. Good night.